I see a huge potential in Southeast Asia where a lot of companies they want to expand and find an alternative marketplace. I mean, not only because of the new tariff and duties, but also some people think that China is getting expensive. Even companies from China, they think that it's getting expensive. So I have a lot of friends, they are moving some of their production to other countries. Basically, there's a saying like, don't put all your eggs in the same basket.
Hello, I'm your host, John Cavendish, and welcome to Season 3 of the Amazon Strategist Show. The show that's all strategy with no hacks, no silver bullets, and no magic pills, just real practical strategies to grow your Amazon business. Today, I'm joined by Burak a graduate of ISIC University, who built his career in sales and operations with brands like BMW and Sony before moving into logistics in China. After running his own Amazon store and working with companies like Volvo and Mercedes, he founded Forceget Digital Freight Forwarder in Miami in 2020. Under his leadership, Forceget has 5x'd in size, gone from 5 to 75 people, expanded globally, and is innovating logistics through its digital solutions. So, Burak, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, John.
Well, thank you for being here. And we were talking just before we got on about your story. I'd love to hear a little bit about how you moved around the world to end up in Miami.
I thought I would never actually move to US because when I moved to Asia, I was pretty happy. I actually went for 6 months for an internship. It was the world's largest golf resort. There were like 17 people working in the hotel, and in my background, I studied international business, but then when I was in college, I did a lot of like summer jobs in hospitality. So I moved to Asia for 6 months. I was gonna do couple of months backpack traveling in Southeast Asia, move back to Turkey, get a job in a corporate company. And it didn't turn out to be like that, happily. I started a sourcing company in China. I moved there 2012. The world economy was really good. Every country was growing. There was no inflation in the world. There's a great structure, like, the factory wouldn't sell to the end customer directly back then. There was a really good structure. You would go and buy as a wholesaler from a factory and then bring it to your country. You will sell to a retailer, and then retail maybe or a reseller would sell it online. And so it was a really good times. I learned a lot in Asia, and then I started my other B2B business. And then I decided to move to and expand to business to North America. That's why I moved to Miami, Florida, and then where I started Forceget. And since then, we grow very fast. We were the first company actually in the e-commerce space start talking about digital freight. It's important to track your shipments. It's important to track your products, understand your landing costs. And it became even more crucial last 2 years in the Amazon space, especially where you need to understand whether you're profitable or not. If you remember a couple of years ago, everybody was talking about, oh, I'm 7-figure seller, 8-figure seller. Nobody really talked about the profitability. Nobody really talked about the landing cost, margins, and cash flow. So we were the first company to actually start bringing that up, and then everybody saw that we were really right like last 2 years. So tough days, but I think still a lot of opportunities to grow in the e-commerce space.
Nice, that's awesome. And as they say, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Reality.
Especially in the Amazon FBA world,
Yeah, people also forget the cash part, the cash being reality, because it's very easy to have a nice profit on your P&L and have zero money in the bank and just everything in inventory.
And what is really interesting now is, especially right after COVID, pretty much everything had longer time frame. Production, manufacturing got longer, shipping got longer, check-in times got longer. So you would even Amazon is paying out like later now, like they keep your money almost like a month versus 2 weeks period time. So healthy cash flow looked like 75 to 90 days 3 years ago versus now it's almost 6 months. We know that AWD takes 2 months to sometimes check in the products, or AGL if you're using. I feel sorry for you, but you don't know where your container is almost like 3 months. So you if you have a cash agreement with your supplier, you pay them up front when the shipment leaves the factory, technically your money tied up almost 4 to 5 months until the shipment delivered to Amazon, and then it's selling, and then your money is coming back to you. So it's like huge time where you have a problem with the cash flow, and then money is very expensive now in the world. Like, your borrowing power is going down. Interest rates are technically 5 to 6%, but any lender kind of starts from 18 to 20%, which is insane. Credit card companies are charging you 28 to 30% APR, which is another insanity. So it's very difficult to like make a decision for people to tie up the cash and start expanding. So Amazon FBA space is a little tough right now.
Yeah, I really get it. So how can people use Forceget to really monitor their landed costs and also, track where everything actually is in the system?
It's actually like we are the first company ever built this kind of platform where you can have your entire team also here. One of the things that I realize is the communication because.
And now a very quick message from our sponsor, Seller Candy. Are you dealing with support issues, cases, flat files, suspensions, or even account suspensions? Then Seller Candy is there for you. We take the pain away so you never need to talk to seller support again. If that sounds interesting, head to sellercandy.com to check us out and book a call with our team today. That's it from us. Now back to the episode.
One of the things that I realize is the communication, because you could be based out of Vietnam as a business owner. You have a team maybe in East Europe, and then you have operation team or your 3PL in California, or other side, like you could be like based in New York, you have a team, you have a VA team in Philippines, you have a supplier in China and Turkey, then nobody's on the same page. So we decided that everybody should be on the same page, even your PPC agency. And sometimes, you can see your product, when is it arriving, what is the status of those. I tell people, if you work with us, you can save $5,000 to $6,000 on PPC. And they're like, what do you mean with that? And I tell them, hey, if you work with a freight forwarder in China, they don't really tell you when the shipment is arriving, what is the departure date, arrival date, what is estimated arrival versus what is real arrival. We see that a lot of delays from the shipping line, cancellations, price increase, decrease. So you could actually see everything in our platform, communicate with our team, with our team members. You can see when your Amazon appointment actually. So you can understand that you can give a better strategy to your PPC budget, or you can deactivate your coupon. Imagine your shipment delayed 2 weeks by your freight forwarder in China, literally sleeping because of the time difference, and you make a decision in New York 3 p.m. and you don't understand that your shipment actually delayed 2 weeks, but you strategize your business as your inventory coming in the next day. So basically you're running full-blown hardcore PPC, external traffic, you're paying influencers, and boom, suddenly your shipment actually delayed 2 weeks, and then you spent all that money and you ran out of inventory. Or opposite, you could be overstocked and then you don't know actually what's going on with your inventory. So I feel like I sometimes see that you don't have any information about the container information, the carrier information. You can see your full breakdown, all your documentation in here in our platform. It's very important end of the year for tax, and or if you one day you want to exit the business. Like we help you to organize everything here, and we also connected to Amazon FBA. We see your BSR, we see your international shipments, domestic shipments, and this is extremely important for the future to inventory planning. And we have 2 warehouses in New Jersey and California. Basically, you can see the end of day inventory, and then you don't only go to Amazon FBA, you don't stick to Amazon FBA or AWD only, you can start selling omni-channel. So you need to have a good 3PL partner in this business. So you can do FBM, Shopify, you can do Walmart, because we all know that with Temu, with Shein, AliExpress, demand to Amazon dropped, although Amazon is still profitable. Almost all of our customers, they complain that their sales numbers are down compared to last year for most of the products, because due to high inflation, a lot of users, they go and buy cheap things. If you buy pair of socks on Amazon, it's $15 versus in Temu people can buy that for $4, $5. So that's pretty crazy. So the solution, in my opinion, to start selling omni-channel and maximize your own catalog category, your relationship with your factory to expand other marketplace, so you actually create more revenue. And then the next step, I feel, expand globally. We are partnered with Amazon Canada, Mexico, India, Australia. So we help our brands to set up a foreign entity on those countries. We help them with clear and custom fulfillments, do returns. So I think I don't like the word hack at all, but I think this year's direct strategy should be omni-channel sales as well as global expansion, because some markets still hungry for the product.
So when you say omni-channel sales, does that mean that as well as doing freight forwarding, you have a full 3PL that can do direct fulfillment?
Correct.
And do you have API integrations with different platforms as well?
Yes, so we have Amazon FBA in our platform. We also working on Walmart and Shopify, which is going to be ready in March. And our warehouses across the world also connected to our platform. So basically, we have two warehouses in United States. We have a warehouse in Ontario, California. We have partner warehouses in Europe. So basically, when you have an inventory in United States, if you want to start testing Amazon Canada, Amazon Mexico, we can do truck shipments to those countries, to our 3P, and then fulfill from those locations to Amazon FBA, as well as some companies, they start selling in South America. There is a marketplace called Libre Mercado, and it's a growing market. Like Amazon Brazil is a market that Brazil has a huge potential, huge population, and not that many, as well as Amazon India, not that many sellers, like global sellers are there. So, I always come across with these like Instagram gurus. Is Amazon FBA dead 2025? I'm like, oh, what a clown. But then I go back and think about like, yeah, is it dead? No, just like you change the strategy, you change the marketplace. Amazon FBA is still there. Amazon is still the world's largest, I think, second search engine after Google. I think YouTube and Amazon is like kind of one and two. So people, they come to Amazon to shop actually, like they have the intention. And TikTok is definitely growing a marketplace. In my opinion, the biggest difference between Amazon and TikTok is the infrastructure. Like, as a buyer, I don't have the same experience as Amazon Prime, which is surprising. Last couple of months, I realized Amazon cannot really deliver within 24 hours. Like it sometimes takes 2-3 days Amazon to deliver. And I don't know if you heard about, but UPS and Amazon, they terminated their agreement, which is going to be huge impact next year for Amazon deliveries and returns. So I think the market is going to get really hot and competition is going to be there. And then I feel companies like Temu or TikTok, they're stealing the market share from Amazon. So a lot of news, I feel like, in the market.
Yeah, I get that. And you also maybe glazed over slightly, but you said you also do custom clearance for markets where you need is that import of record?
Correct.
Which
Yeah, we can help companies to register non-resident import record, like such as Canada. In UK, Europe, we can help them VAT, EORI, and then once they're registered in those marketplaces, we can help with the custom clearance. So technically, we help companies with registrations and compliance, and then we help them custom clearance and local delivery. That's one of our core business, actually.
Oh, that's really cool. So if somebody does want to ship to one of those markets, how long before they want to ship should they engage you to support? Because sometimes these things take a while to get these numbers.
Right. Like UK takes almost a month. If you go to Europe, I recommend you to do it in Netherlands, like Holland, because of the language. Sometimes Germany could be like a language barrier or a regulation. Germany is like more strict, but majority of sales in Europe is Germany. So the lucky part is if you have a legal entity registered in Netherlands, you can still import to Germany. That's allowed. Or you can even import through Netherlands and then you can take it by truck. That's a lot easier. But if you want to export from Europe, you need to have an export company in that particular country. It means that if you are a Polish company, you can still ship it to Netherlands, but if you're a Polish company, you have to export from the same country. If you're a Polish company, you cannot ship out from Germany. So regulations in Europe is a little complicated versus North America. And then with the new office, with the new elected president in the United States, I feel things gonna be more complicated between US and Europe. Uh, we will see, but I would say Europe and UK 1 month prior at least. Canada is easier, like 2 weeks time, and some other countries like Japan, Australia, it's kind of a little harder. But we have a client that they ship products to Japan and then um, they're selling this small LED uh, game consoles and they're doing really good. Like, type of product that could sell electronics in Japan is very interesting actually. So it's never hurt to try those new
That's
marketplaces.
super cool. Yeah, I've been to the ports in Holland. They're absolutely massive. Europort, it just goes on for miles and miles and miles. And
Yeah.
yeah, the Dutch are super friendly. Like every time you call up their government or anyone, somebody speaks English.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
friendly.
exactly.
They pick up a human being. It's like the
Yeah.
opposite of Amazon. It's great.
Absolutely.
No, very cool. So, as well as doing, logistics, 3PL, help setting up, ERI, import numbers, do you also provide like packaging and labeling services, like prep services?
Yes. Yeah, we have 7 offices around the world. Our core location, mainland China, and we have 2 warehouses in mainland China, in Ningbo and Shenzhen. We do a lot of consolidation. We do free storage in our warehouse in China up to 1 month, and also we do labeling, repackaging, and those kind of work in both in China and the US. That's one of our core business, and we also work with some inspection companies for helping our clients.
Oh, super cool. And yeah, doing it in China
Yeah.
that's a massive value add for sure.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, hopefully I'll be in Vietnam, and that's our next office space. Hopefully, we are expanding to Vietnam. I see a huge potential in Southeast Asia, where a lot of companies they want to expand and find an alternative marketplace. I mean, not only because of the new tariff and duties, but also some people think that China is getting expensive. Even companies from China, they think that it's getting expensive. So I have a lot of friends. They are moving some of their production to other countries. Basically, you know, uh, there's a saying like, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. I think both as a business owners or supplier perspective, they don't want to keep everything in one country. They want to distribute their risk. But as an e-commerce brand owner or an Amazon FBA seller, I think people should have alternative sourcing marketplaces, and I think that's smart because you never know what's going to happen in the global market, and it's always an advantage to look for alternatives.
Yeah, and I'd agree with you. Having lived in Vietnam for 9 years, like the mentality, you shouldn't say, you'd never say this in Vietnam, but the mentality is similar to China. So similar kind of business, high production mindset, driven people, um, beautiful place to come visit. Yeah, more than willing to show you around when you're here. Love it. Cool. So we're going to move on to the part of the show where we ask for your controversial take. So here's where we ask if you have a debatable or controversial opinion related to Amazon or the e-commerce industry in general.
I like e-commerce and Amazon environment. I mean, we are partnered with Amazon. We go to their direct events, like we exhibited last 2 years in Amazon Accelerate. We were the only supply chain company actually got invited. When we started Forceget, we called ourselves Digital Freight Forwarder. Now we are switched to Forceget Supply Chain because supply chain is a part of shipments, compliances, reimbursement. You heard about Amazon change the reimbursement rule, which is ridiculous. Instead of giving them a full selling price, they're giving them like manufacturing cost, and there's a huge risk in that part where Amazon will know who's your manufacturer, your manufacturing cost. But on the other hand, you'll be losing a lot of money because Amazon is not paying you international shipping, the 3P cost, like local delivery, and most importantly, tax and duty. So if you are selling a product for $20, probably you made that for $7, but also there's almost a cost additional $5 all the way to bring it to Amazon
So
FBA.
it's not
So you'll
landed.
be
So it's
losing.
not US landed cost. It's actually going to be
No,
manufacturing cost. So that should
yeah,
also
it's
push the
manufacturing
US
cost.
landed.
So yeah, exactly. So that's where we kind of play the role, and we tell companies, look, if you work with us on the reimbursement side, we can help you to recover all those additional costs, which is super crazy. That Amazon just wants to pay the manufacturing costs. And think about the time you spend, the money you put in. I think just Amazon is thinking its own pocket. Did we surprise? Not really. But I think it's a still great marketplace to sell. There's traffic. If you put yourself as a good brand, a lot of people are think missing something. If you have a strong presence on e-commerce, there are some wholesalers or they're like retailers can come and find you, and you can actually start making a wholesale business. Pretty much you guarantee the payout. Like, if you bring a full container, you sell the half to a wholesaler with a really good margins, 20-25%, to a local business, 30% sometimes. You don't really do much, you just bring the product, you already know how to import, you have a freight forwarder, you have a supplier. So I don't understand why e-commerce brands don't want to push their wholesale business. We have a client that they went from 80% online to 80% wholesale, and then he's happier. He's just like, hey, I can sleep better at nights, because the thing is, on Amazon FBA, you can wake up the next day and your listing is gone. Technically, you can think that you're gone, your business is gone. Like, it's very harsh. I'm a type of person, I try to control things in my life, in my business, although 99% of the time things are happening outside of our control, and supply chain, international logistics. It's a very difficult environment, but I feel our customer service is the best in the market. So that's how we grew so fast, word of mouth, strong partnerships. But I think what this year gonna show us is start selling in different marketplaces and different sales channels, like generate more revenue, because it's hard to make profit. So you need to increase the places that you sell and definitely go global. So those are two things that I take away from this year, last couple of years, showing us like where this year everything's going.
Yeah, I mean, and if your listing does go down the next day, that's when you should
Yeah.
come and talk to Seller Candy. That's why we exist.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. Like, if you want to globally expand, if you want to start selling in different marketplace, and it very interesting. Every marketplace has a different characteristic. You can't really be successful with Amazon FBA listing with Walmart. So you need to talk to an expert. You need to come to Seller Candy to discuss, like, what's the strategy.
yeah, perfect. And if you do want to go into wholesale and retail, another partner of ours, Talor from Retail Empire, he's got his own platform now, actually basically helping connect you with wholesalers and retailers. So he'd be another guy to check out.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to open a booth in a, let's say,
Mm.
ASD. It's a great trade show. When I lived in China, I learned a lot to go into trade shows. I ask 5 to 10 different suppliers the same question, then you can easily like understand. You can read their body language, whether they're telling you the truth or not. You can touch the product. So the same thing, like, I think that's a great investment. If you feel like, hey, I want to expand the wholesale, where do I start? Go open a booth in a small trade show, like $3,000 to $5,000. That's like your 1 month Amazon PPC budget at least, and then you can actually meet serious wholesalers or retailers where you can start making money.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. I went to ASD last year, I had a speaking spot, and I walked around the entire, well, not the entire, most of the event. It's absolutely huge. And yeah, you
Yeah.
can stand out there. There's a lot of crap. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
retailers selling the same crap
Yeah.
as everyone else, a lot of fake stuff, a lot of knockoff
Yeah.
stuff. So you can stand out with a really good product compared to a lot of these people selling their own crap. So I feel like it's
Yeah,
actually a good place
absolutely.
to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it. Cool. So, Burak, if people want to find out more about Forceget, what should they do?
They can visit forceget.com, or they can send an email to sales@forceget.com. It comes to me directly. We also offer 15 to 30 minutes free consultancy for our clients. You know, every brand is different, every product is different, every company needs some love. So we like to talk to our clients, understand their pain points, and we talk to a lot of different companies. So we have a lot of experience with anything they need. So just come and talk to us. Another thing is we don't charge our customers up front. No one does it in the marketplace. We tell them if you don't like the service, you don't have to pay for it. I'm so confident that our service is going to be satisfying our clients. And we tell them, look, uh, there are things happening outside of our control, but at least if there's anything happens, you're gonna know the first person. Like you're not gonna wait 1 week, 10 days, or 4 days to like get notified about that. You're gonna get notified at the same time. So that helps you to have a better visibility in your business. And if you don't know what's going on in the business, it means that you can't control it. So, uh, you know, choose your own destiny.
Love it. Cool. Thanks so much for being here, Burak. And thank you for all our listeners. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe, vote us on the episode. That gives us more reach. And see you all in next week's episode.